us Māori and Polynesian, our rates of obesity in South Auckland is really bad. We need to change that. And that's why we started our boot camps.
Welcome to Fika's Focus. Voices leading change.
We're here with Deach and Lisa. Lovely to meet you.
Yes,
Lovely to meet
too.
you. I know I love and value seeing a couple in this space of business. I'm lucky enough to work with my wife. She might not say the same thing, but I do see it as a real privilege. And then when I meet other working couples driven by your own values and your own relationship and what you guys are trying to do, I do express a lot of gratitude, because I think it's not unique, but it is certainly tough, but massively empowering. So well done.
Oh, thank you.
Well done. We're here in Papamoa. You guys have got some cool things coming, but we thought we'd just go back to a little bit. You got the big Discipline Games event, which has been going on, but also you've started in the gym. But let's talk through some of that. Where does it start? Who you are? All that sort of stuff.
Awesome.
Okay, Lisa, you can start. She's usually the intro person.
What?
You can go.
Well, we've been in business for 10 years in the fitness industry, and that just started with Deach just wanting to take our little boot camps out of that space and put it into something bigger. And so I remember him saying, we're going to open a gym and we're going to run it. And I had no idea how to run a gym, what to do, but we obviously figured it out during the way. And since then we started Discipline Games, and then through that obviously we've moved down here into Papamoa, and now starting our first ever kids only gym. So our decision with that was just using the resources and the knowledge that we had, and how can we now make an impactful, I guess, change our direction from, we've worked with adults for 10 years, but we've got 3 babies of our own. And so I guess that's probably how we've come to this moment of working together, is we always try and find avenues of how we can continue to raise our family, work together, and how can we create a lifestyle around that. And so being able to open up a kids gym is one of the things where our babies get to, I guess, grow up through this space too, and they're really excited about that. Hey.
Just go through this journey with us. And how it started, we can go all the way back to when I was doing music. And I've pretty much put on 10 kgs from like just touring, when we were touring with the Smashproof boys, and when Brother like hit number 1 all over, all we did for the past 2 years was touring, and that was like eating bad food, not training, late nights, like consuming like alcohol and stuff like that. So I had to change because of that weight gain, and I was like, what do I need to do to transform? And yeah, just turning into fitness, and I just started training, just putting my health first. And I think that was the major key for us. We were like, man, I'm not getting any younger. And when Smashproof was around, that was like close to 15 to 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And people don't even know that I'm in the group because of my face. Like when the song came out, when we were driving the invisible car, when Brother came out, I was like real chubby. I had no hair.
Yeah.
So people don't even know that I'm a muso. Like that was my first passion. And then from transitioning from a muso to fitness, I think back in those days, they didn't really get me. They're like, who's this muso coming out of nowhere, changing the game in fitness? But they didn't realize, I was at my lowest point. I was overweight. I was 30 kgs heavier than what I am now. Managed to maintain that. And yeah, just decided, man, like us Māori and Polynesian, our rates of obesity in South Auckland is really bad. We need to change that. And that's why we started our boot camps. And then obviously from there, from the boot camps, moved on to owning a gym, because we could never get funding from it. And we were just like, no, we just need to do it ourselves. Took a leap of faith, got a loan out, started the gym, and 10 years on, we're here.
This is history.
What are some of the key lessons though? I mean, I know because I've been in that space myself. What are some of the real cool business lessons from owning a gym? Because I've certainly, I feel like it was almost a master's in business administration.
Yeah.
I almost purchased that. I really learned some sharp lessons. One being I can't control every aspect of it to create an actual business.
Yeah.
But what's some of the lessons you walk? Because you've just recently sold, eh?
Yeah.
So what are some of the lessons now that you kind of hear?
Yeah, I think for us, our ethos from the get go when we first established our business was collaboration. I studied as a social worker, and that was something that was one of the key things. Is everyone's always trying to do something that's different from the other, and then you're actually all working against each other. And so the man that Deach is as well is collaborating with other people. So when we started our gym, we were inviting other gyms to come and train with us and being really supportive that our coaches were going to go and train with, at other gyms. And I think it was instead of feeling really territorial about our space, we learned how to collaborate. And I think that was the growth with Discipline Games as well, because at the beginning, our gear that we were using were borrowed from different gyms, and we realized that our community impact had to be in collaboration. And I think that's kind of drawn in the success of our relationships with other gyms and going, well, what's the bigger picture? What's the bigger outcome? Having more people in more gyms was that our ultimate goal.
And it was always about collaboration and partnering up and never being afraid to just say to another gym or another affiliate, hey guys, we need your help.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing for a lot of people. They're afraid to ask.
The gym space does support that sort of kaupapa if you're open to it. That's a similar thing. We took pride in building strong athletes. So our gym was known for its Olympic weightlifting. And that was because I saw a gym whose Olympic weightlifting, which was coached by Richie, and they were the functional strength gym, and I was like, bro, how come I don't move like that? It was then so seeking out support for the actual coaching delivery of some of that stuff was really key. But I did a lot of stuff with Danny Nemani out Otara. He had Otara CrossFit, him and Mihi, and then it was bought by Rubes. Turned it into WikiWorks. And then the Create Empire and Matt and them, and there was just these real good guys that I used to train with pretty regularly. And when you open that corridor, it's amazing how it continues to flourish. That desire to get together and lean on people so that we can advance each other's businesses versus steal or combat what was going on. It's a cool kaupapa to live through, right?
It is, but it's also there's no way that anyone opens up a gym to be a millionaire either. It's your heart is completely for communities. So even coming to the decision after 10 years to close our gym, our first thought was, where are they going to go? What are they going to do? And you feel almost like you're abandoning them. And so we pivoted our thinking and was like, okay, what if we got someone who was in the industry and they still are in that growing phase, if they came in and actually elevated what we could offer? Because I think we realized at some point, living here and running a gym in Auckland, we weren't serving them. So that was kind of the decision to pass it on. So now Fit Mums Fitcom is in there, and what's her name? Brooke. Brooke and CLC.
They got a pretty good operation, eh?
Yeah, incredible. And they are just on the ground people, and we couldn't have thought of better people to take on this legacy that we've left. And so our members and our coaches stayed on, which we're really stoked about because now they still have a place to call home. Yeah,
that's. I think when you start with pono intentions and you finish with pono intentions, with it being good in your guts, it's. I wonder about the millionaire thing because when we rank it out in monetary frame, maybe not, but sheesh, when we talk about lives changed or community impacts or the ability to carry a legacy somewhere else, I think is quite important. Like you guys have pushed that out into the Discipline Games events, and then you're obviously coming for a kaupapa down here. You can now, in today's world where we've got social media, we can carry the legacy no matter where we go. I think that's probably the millionaire thinking approach that does drive a lot of people who hunt for success outside of just a monetary term. You know, no use being wealthy and you're not achieving any of the community goals that you're trying to achieve. And most people with gyms, and we talked about this before with profiles, when I realised quickly, most people just want to look better naked. I think that's an important factor, right? It's an important factor to them, but also it starts there, but then once it gets to a point of like, oh man, should I feel better? Oh, I sleep better. Oh, I'm not reaching for the lollies or the... Like lollies, my vice. So the lollies I always go to. But you know, especially Māori and Pacifica. You know, you guys from South Auckland, I'm from Tukuroa. You know, it's far harder. There's dairies, fried chicken, and Stars drinks and
everywhere.
Bro, it's so readily available. You know, teaching in Rewa, like you can either buy a $5 sandwich or get a pie and a chicken thigh on the way to school. Like. Oh, it's going to fill my guts more. You know that. So, in those elements, creating pillars like what you guys have done for communities in those spaces is actually quite a great mission, right? So, what does it look like now? We move because let's go to Discipline Games because that's been a big thing. And 3 years been going now. You've had your third one, 2 years.
8 years.
No, but the one here at
Three.
This is you've done 3 events a year. The one at Classic Flyers.
Yes, that's
but it's been going for a long time. But the one here is like, bro, it feels like that. What was some of the thinking coming this way?
I think for us it was always to take it on the road. And because obviously for me and my music journey, it was like a tour thing. Like I want to take, I want to do a tour. And because again, like it comes down to collaboration and values and who we connect with around this area, we felt like the majority of competitors are from here or from that side, from the Bay Area. So like, man, they always have to travel up to Auckland. Why can't we just bring it to, Tauranga? And I think that was the idea around that. And, you know, from then it's a staple event. Everyone just waits for... You know,
sounds out fast, eh?
Yeah, and I mean, it's quick. At Classic Flyers. Like, I just still think to this day when he was like, "We're going to run this event out of this, like, you know, plain museum," and I'm thinking, "What do you mean? What's the vision?" He's like, "I've got a vision," and so when he says that, I just full trust that it's going to work. And so it's like our one outdoor event in winter.
Yes,
every year, and everyone's like, "What's the weather like?" And our like secret is we don't check the weather. We actually won't forecast what it's going to be like because it doesn't matter what it's going to be. We're still going to run the event and we're going to make sure that we pivot in whatever way. So we're like, no, we're not having that bad energy, checking the weather. We're just going to do it and make sure.
And I think the simplicity of your programming's been, it hasn't been way too advanced. Like I've been to events, Brian, and you're like I remember going to one event and they had like a 12-foot rope climb or something. Bro, you had the harness.
Oh,
I was just thinking, bro, like, how fit do you have to, like, this isn't testing, you know what I mean? I was like, and yet when I remember some of the events like the Battle of the Fittest, which is the Auckland one, and CrossFit Auckland used to run it, and some of the events were just so basic. Like, one was like assault bike, wall climb, thruster. That was a 21, 15, 9, and then just repeat. And it was 2 got knocked out, 2 got knocked out, 2. And it was just so brutally terrible because you can all relate to the pain. You all watch it and you're like, actually, I can relate to that. You know, I can go and try that back at my gym because, we do have assault bikes. We can jump over something and we can do thruster. It was like... And I love that watching like your guys programming. You know, I remember Azza doing it the first year. Even he, I remember the snatch. I think I still got the video somewhere. But you know, it's accessible.
Yeah.
That's been a cool feature of what you guys have carried.
Well, the idea around it was because we have it in Mount Maunganui. I want to get all the gyms to program. So every year I have a different gym from this area to program.
Yeah.
in respect of
See,
that.
I didn't know that. Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
So we had, Aiden from CrossFit Papamoa.
Yeah.
We had Johnny from Raw.
Yep.
We had one of the boys, Callum from Mount CrossFit.
Yep.
So every year's a different
Oh.
gym.
So-
Yeah.
Oh,
And that's like
man.
Deach's thing, and that's why I think it's just like people probably don't know the background thoughts of that. Is that like if we're depending on where we are, we get a local person to program, and Deach will just tweak it to make sure that it runs properly and our
Yep.
setup team and things like that. But that's how we do it. So
That's
if we
cool, man.
we're going to Sydney this week, tomorrow. And like we'll have a local person program that, so
Worker.
that local gyms are a part of that process as well.
Yes.
Yeah, just so cool.
Those events, though, I think the byproducts too, that what a lot of people don't realise is when you host events, generally a crew will come with them and they will go and train at local gyms too. I think that's one overlooked thing. Like the Battle of the Fittest, our gym was on Manukau Road, right in Epsom. So, and they had the Battle of the Fittest just around the corner. Bro, we had heaps of people come and train with us because they would come in and watch.
Yeah.
So I remember, and it was good for us. Like we got a big surge and some drop-in fees, and I think that's an important. And then you look at like sponsoring or people who can come in and bring their own apparel. You know, I remember years ago they moved back to America, but our mates owned Speed Rope when Speed Ropes were coming in, and it was like Momentum. They were called, and I remember them just selling out of speed ropes.
Yeah.
They had the light fiber handles, and they were like the real first kind of approach. IA were kind of bringing them in at the time, but they were like just a specialist rope company, and they had their thing. They could cut them to length at the booth, and I just remember answering them selling out. Like I can't remember how much cable it was. It was shitloads, but they just sold
just
out.
made it.
People just turned up, loved them, bought 1, 2, 3, 4, gyms came in, we'll buy 10. We'll do, it was crazy.
They just followed that. Hey, like we had that with our worms. So the worms, we were probably the first, one of the first in Auckland that had these worms, and we introduced them into our comp. And so when we had programmed that into the comp, we'll just have teams of teams just coming in just to use the worms.
Yes.
Because we were the only people that had worms. And so now we sell ex-comp worms and things like that from our gym in Auckland. But yeah, it's just amazing how when you realise how many, that draws people in.
Yes,
It's so cool.
A lot of gyms, like I competed in Wellington Cup years ago a few times, and that's where I first came across an assault bike. And I remember the workout was like 10 cals. But when you first jump on an assault bike and you're going hard, but it's not moving, and I remember, what the hell is this devil bike? Like we were like going hard, and like all of us walked off, and it was like a assault bike and dead ball or something. And I remember like I was just stuffed. But then after that, we were like, we need to get one of those.
That.
That assault bike was like, bro, that is a like terrible thing, but like for creating another level of athlete, far out. It's like,
It's so hard.
good.
yeah,
It's like the worst. That's
terrible.
the worst.
It's terrible, eh?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, I've thrust assault bike thruster. What? No thanks. Terrible.
I love when like new people come in and it's like their first time on the assault bike and they're like, "Excuse me, it's broken. It's not working." I was like, "Keep going, keep going.
Go harder." Yeah, wicked. So then we fast forward again, and we're opening, which is I love it. I think it's a real unique, niche, novel concept. And talking to Deach at coffee, the whakaaro, the thinking behind it. But let's talk about your new venture.
The kids' gym.
Yeah.
The kids' gym. Well, for us, this has been our lives for the past 10 years. And we felt like there was definitely a need in Papamoa, especially with kids, and not just the ones that play sports, but the ones that don't play sports, and just a confidence builder as well. When it comes to kids, it's a really touchy subject. You don't want to what's the word, like cross any boundaries. So we're very so how are we going to tackle this? Like we need to treat it as a place, one, to build confidence, to build their fitness as well, and I guess just what do you think? Like I can't really explain what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, well, I think we run a comp called Oceania Cup, which is it's basically to bring all nations together. This is Deach's like heart project. Like, he won't give this one up, whether it makes money or not. He's just like, this is my baby. And so it's bringing all the Pacific nations together, and to represent your culture. So you're not representing your gym, you're representing your culture. Within that, we've got a segment where kids showcase their fitness in the same capacity that the adults do. And we run this comp for free for kids. And so we've got 80 kids that do this. So no payment onto their parents or anything like that. And then we've got a teen element to it too. So after our last comp, which was in June, I can't remember, and we were driving home, and after realizing we'd just sold the gym, we were driving home going, what are we going to do now? What is this? What does our future look like? And so we had thought about you'd wanted to do a kids comp solely for that. But we were just thinking about, there is no space that's just dedicated to children. A lot of the times when you're doing a kids class, it's an add-on to an adults class. So you're just doing it sort of to keep kids, the retention of that. But we decided that we're completely out of that. And this kids space needed to be a space where kids could come solely for them to be focused on. Yeah. Yes. And so it's a very holistic thinking that we want any child to be able to access fitness in whatever way, and like little things, we're teaching them how to skip. We think that kids just know how to skip, but it's a simple thing that is never just taught, and they're like that seems like a basic thing. But we want also parents to be able to bring their kids into a space where they can see them thrive, not just in school sports or not just in club sports, but something different. And a lot of parents that have brought their kids here are doing this type of fitness. So it's something that's going to be holistic, where we will have parents come in and train with their child once a month, just so that they can have that same, they can fellowship alongside each other. Yep. But yeah, I don't know if I explained that in the best way possible, but
I think Deach spoke to me at coffee too, where it was like, it's building confidence to go in and be in a space or facility like that, because the reality is there are more sports than kids could do than when we grew up, right? Yes. There's so many options that it almost is overwhelming. Like, get your summer sports options from your school, and it's like flippable, this, touch, this, volleyball. This. And you're like, when I was a kid, it was like athletics or cricket. Yeah. And maybe softball if the coach was keen. And it's winter, it was like rugby or league. Yeah. And then touch came about as blew up, and then maybe it was bugger all. Yeah. But now, bro, they can do like anything and everything. There's so many options. But the gym, like when I've been to other gyms and teenagers wandering around, it's crazy how, like, when I'd Olympic lift in a normal gym and people would be worried about the safety. Yeah. And I'd be like looking at people, young kids who are not being actually taught explicitly the confidence to move with, safety at first, but also understanding the development principles needed to do what they're trying to do, which is probably get stronger, bigger, faster, things like that. But starting that culture from a young age is actually quite a power move.
We've seen it in our own children, and just because they've grown up within the gym, and just watching them excel in the space. And I think, like Deach said it yesterday, just being able to wake up our daughter and say, you've got this opportunity to play the sport today. You've never played it before, but I think she's got confidence that I can do this because she's a part of the gym. She's running, she's learning sprint. She's got these fundamental things that obviously transcend into any sport, you know. But I think our philosophy in this gym is not just to have just a space where they come and try. We want them to achieve things. So we've got wooden barbells, and then once you achieve that, you're going to go into a 5 kg barbell, and then you're going to grow in that.
Which is no different to belts in jiu-jitsu, or
that's the same philosophy.
You've got to prove a certain level of ability to perform with said implement. And again, it mirrors out to kids like, I'm advancing, I'm growing.
Yeah. And also for parents, like, I feel like parents also need to see the growth of their kids. Instead of just dropping them off, for the hour fitness and then come back and, just not knowing what they've achieved.
Yes.
So that's that's what we want to
Yeah,
implement.
and I think that's why we chose the name centre, because it's like when we think about like a leisure centre and it's like the disciplines are not just one specific discipline. It can go into anything else. But we want it to be obviously play based and a safe environment, and then we want to offset some of their skills. If someone's more skillful than someone else, and we'll work on that with you. And if you're not achieving that, we don't want you to feel like you're falling behind, but how can we keep you a part of this process and things like that. So we're using obviously the same philosophies that we use in an adult gym, but just way more kid-centered, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, I think at heart too, when we walk into a gym, especially if it's something like I remember when CrossFit came on, like everyone was like, what's CrossFit? And you could not really explain it. Like you used to give the fitness in 100 words, but people were like, yeah, but what is it?
Yeah,
But when you centre on principles, like what you guys have obviously done, it's easier to translate into the success. Like the Māori Pacifica obesity thing is an easy one for us to correlate with, right? And we are seeing more children. In fact, I remember seeing a stat that there's now more people obese than there are starving in the world. Now, if that doesn't represent abundance in the new world today, then that's so yet New Zealand has per capita, don't exactly quote me on this, but I'm pretty certain New Zealand per capita has the highest concentration of gyms in the world, developed world, which is an alarming stat, right? So when we talk about that and what you guys are doing and building access to not only just equipment and progression and things, but also a depth of philosophy that enables people to progress. The alignment's still there with adults too, right? I always find, if people felt like in CrossFit or at whatever sort of functional type approach, they weren't advancing, they would give up.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
That was something either injury or not advancing. I'm not getting a bigger snatch, or I'm not doing as many kipping pull-ups, or I can't do the 100 double unders yet. I've been coming for 2 years.
Yeah.
Terrible exercise when I first started. You still end up with some whips up your back and
So
legs.
sore.
But it is that sort of thing. So what does it look like in terms of execution of times? What are you guys, what's your thoughts on timing in the days, and so that people are starting to get aware around this?
We have a few timings that we sort of locked in. Our cubs, which is our 5 to 8 year olds, at 3:15.
Yep.
The reason why we went straight after school is because we didn't want to go 3:30 or 3:45, because there's that big transition gap.
Yeah.
Where you have to go home and
And for a
and
child.
pick up and straight
and
up.
for a child,
And for a child too to be picked up from school, then you have to have your afternoon snack and then process that, and then you've got to almost like hype yourself up to go to class. So it's just like because of the age gap, we're really mindful of their like development and their energy, and so their class is only about 45 minutes just to keep them engaged.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's straight after school. They go straight to the gym.
Yes,
so
awesome.
that's at 3:15. For 45 minutes, then our juniors, which is our 9 to 11, 12, is at 4.
Yep.
4 p.m. till 5 p.m. And then we have our teens from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Wicked. Far out. It's like, it's. I've always thought that the beauty of functional fitness, in essence, was getting good people in front of kids. I've always thought, as a principal, like Danny Namani and me, who ran Otara CrossFit, like they were just such great people, and like Ian Ganares as well, who I did quite a bit with. He was just such a beautiful human. He could coach as well. He understood kids as well. He's a passionate dad, but they were just so good at being around kids. And often, as we only realise this later on in life, but we do actually need other adults outside of our own parents to stand up for us.
Yeah.
I think that's quite a key principle, is having other adults that see more, well, not maybe more, but other aspects of us as outside of being someone's child.
Yeah, I said this to Deach. I just said, like, one of the most incredible things that I think we forget is that everyone remembers that one teacher or that one coach who believed in you. And you'll never forget them. And you ask someone to remind you about who they were, and they'll tell you the exact words that they said. And I just said to him, like, I just think we're in such a privileged position to know that we wholeheartedly will believe in these kids and support you, and whatever that is, it may not be in that specific sports, but the other things that you're learning, the other aspects about being a confident and like just loved child too, and so we're just welcoming to whatever whatever comes our way. But some people will joke, and it's like, how do you manage kids, and how are you gonna do that? And you just do. I think when you're genuinely so passionate about that and understanding about their development and their space that they're in, or what home they're coming from, you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
But what space do you hold for them? Eh?
We can't assume that they're just athletic or they've come from a good background.
Yes.
So we always got to switch on and make sure that we're looking after them as much as we can.
Yeah, that safety element of walking into a gym is critical.
Yeah.
That's why people don't last if they don't feel safe as well. Like if you walk, and I do, some of the functional spaces have not won that. They haven't won that Monday yet, where I feel I'm going to walk in there because I feel safe.
Yeah.
That has always been a bit of an ongoing battle. When you walk in, and I remember walking in the first time, music's raging and like barbells dropping, and everyone's got no shirt on or half a shirt on, and ripped up hands. And thankfully, I believe it's gotten far better from that. But there still is an intimidation factor there. But if we can start with them younger, that they're like, actually, like your children have grown up around it, so it's second nature.
I think we forget too, with adults who come to a gym, is that's their hour of like focusing on their mental health, right? So everything that they carries into that space. So we can obviously turn it on when we're receiving them, but that's what I think sometimes makes it so complex, is that you're like, Johnny's this way one day and then he's this way the next day, but they're literally carrying this into the gym to release it in this space. So you're watching adults almost like fight for themselves, but trying to be, I guess, accommodating and supportive around everyone else. So I guess it comes down to the people at the front of don't forget, when someone's new, how do we treat them? And it's funny how you still have to teach those things, even to adults. But those are, I guess, founding principles.
Yeah, you're right. And we followed a principle, which I still loosely follow in my own life. It's from Samurai. It's a 23-1 principle, which was built on that the 23 hours contributed to me performing for 1 hour. Sleep, food, stress levels, engagement, delivering on other purposes. That's why when I looked deeply into what the Samurai they were artists. They not like Spartans who were just full-time, warriors. They were artists, gardeners. They were just part of a community. But if they had to perform for the 1 hour of training and practice, everything else contributed and rolled into that. And part of those principles that when supporting children to understand that you need to get a good sleep. Sleep's important. Hey, what you put in your body is quite important. Viewing. I know. In mental health statistics, the biggest mental health issue right now with kids is eating disorders.
I was just about to say that.
So those sorts of things are really important when you around a village type approach, which it sounds like what you guys exactly kind of encompass. That situation there supports the family construct, right?
Also, I think that's a big thing for me that I was saying to Deach, is that we have an opportunity to change what, these kids have so much access to social media these days, and you can't control that. But how are we going to teach about healthy habits and eating habits and nutritional habits in this space, and how best can we do that? And so it's it's important to have those conversations, because I'm mindful about even, my daughter, but not helicoptering her when she's like, I'm not hungry right now, but I still want to go and play with the sport. And I'm thinking, you have to eat something, you have to do this. But then also allowing her to kind of guide her into understanding her own body. How does your body perform when you don't eat? How do we view food? Does it feel not everything's bad? And how, and just it's so important when you're having those conversations, and just watching him, keep off 30 kilos for the last 10 years is such a incredible motivation to his family as well, because they can see it in discipline and in this walking form, Yeah.
It's only 30 kgs. Hi.
30 kgs. Can you believe
It's crazy.
Man, when you watch those videos, you wouldn't even recognize that I'm the guy in that group. That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. It's I remember that song coming out years ago. Like, I think I was in London. I think I might have been. Like, yeah. And then obviously meeting you, and then I was like, I think as or someone was like, hey, the bros in Smashproof, and I was like, hey, I was trying to, I was like, hey, I remember thinking, which one's he? But yeah, that's crazy. Oh, look, ultimately, we're grateful to have you as part of the Papamoa community, and we want to see local businesses succeed, especially when you're carrying real pono aspirations for that. It's certainly needed. Like, I think with the construct of coaching disappearing from schools a lot more now, because teachers are just a heck of a lot busier.
Yes. Yeah.
Where the teachers used to be the rugby coaches and the everything coaches, to now it's just not quite as full on at schools like that.
Yeah.
To having another external provider like you guys creating that situation is really awesome for the Papamoa community. So when's the opening? What's the lay of the land there?
3 weeks.
Oi!
Yeah, so we pretty much jumped straight into it. Had the idea about, a month ago?
Yeah,
and
4 weeks ago.
Yeah, 4 weeks ago. And we just decided the longer we wait, the longer it's not going to happen. So,
So enrollment's opened?
Yes. So
cool.
Registration's open now, and we open in about 3 weeks, which is October 13th, when we're back from Sydney.
Yep.
Power trip. Yeah.
And the location? Where is it?
Yep, 26/38 Ashley Place.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm remembering that now. So obviously it's a nice local area. It was where the first bout was, actually.
Ah, yes, that's right. Yep.
Yeah, and so our concept around how this works is that it's a rolling membership. So it's not just a term-based membership. It's something that keeps kids engaged and keeps them active pre-season, off-season.
Yep.
Just basically an opportunity for them to keep focused on their fitness, just as they would any kind of sport or dance lessons or swim lessons or anything like that. It's the same kind of concept as like an adult membership. So at the moment we've got some good numbers to start our foundation of it. So we're just hoping that it will grow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so where do we sign up? Where do people go? They got a website?
Yeah,
or
so
socials?
www.disciplineperformance.co.nz.
Nice. And social media?
Yeah, and social media on Instagram is disciplineperformance_center.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I look forward to seeing this. I know we're talking about trying to get some Future Focus kids to roll down and do some stuff there too. But look, we wish you the best, all the best in that space. We appreciate I appreciate, again, the niche focus. I think it's certainly something that's needed. And we look forward to celebrating your success.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for having us on. I can't say up the wires in that, but we did win New South Wales Cup, so there we go.
Yeah.
New South Wales Cup winners. This year was our year.
Yeah.
Just not of the big grades. But great to have you guys on.
Awesome.
Appreciate it. Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Thank you so much.